Hi everybody, welcome back to the Whimsy Gardener channel. My name's Taylor and I am here to show you guys how I like to plant my dormant raspberry plug plants. And to start off with, I'm going to show you guys what I like to use to get them going and get them started. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so here is what we have today. We have, let me see so I can show you guys. Oops. So right here I have my 4 raspberry plug plants. I have 2 Ann raspberries and 2 Ann, and then I also have 2 Latham raspberries, ones without the tags. So what I am doing right now is soaking these for about 1 to 2 hours in warm water just to rehydrate the roots a little bit more so that they can absorb moisture better. Where I got my raspberry plug plants at is MI Gardener. I actually really like his dormant plants. At the end of the video I can show you the ones I've already planted from him. They're turning out beautifully. They're putting on so much growth already. And basically I bought these ones a little bit later on because he ended up having a sale. So to get started with getting these guys in the ground, I like to throw in some berry food because it's really important to give these dormant plants the nutrients they need to get them to thrive. So in this particular berry food, they have plenty of nitrogen, which is so important on helping the plants wake up and put on new green growth. And another thing that I have with me is I like to put some cow manure or any sort of compost inside the hole before I start putting the plants in there, just to give them a little bit more nutrients. So here in Iowa we have very clay soil, which raspberries typically don't mind. Normally I would throw in a little bit of peat moss, but I kind of ran out on the other ones. So I think they will be fine with just some compost and some berry food. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff over here opened. And try not to splash yourself in the face with compost. That is not great. So I'm just going to throw some in this hole. Some of them got really hard. I always like to do this by hand because then I can pick out like the really hard pieces. Because in the early stages I don't want their roots to get compacted in anything. So then I'm going to also throw in the berry food. And then a little bit. So it's kind of like that lasagna method people talk about for raised beds. I just kind of do it. So we're going to get this one here. Let me move this so you guys can see. I'm going to kind of break these up like a little bit so you can see that soaking those roots really did help to bring the moisture back into it. And since I got these later on in the season, there is a little bit more green growth on these than the other dormant plants that I got. Just gonna put that in there. So you want the crown of it kind of at this level. So then I'm going to grab some of the dirt I dug up and kind of mix it in here. Because you want the soil to kind of be similar to what you're planting it in so that the roots don't get compacted. So I'm going to use a lot of the compost and then the clay. And I'm sure there's many other ways that you can plant raspberry plants. This is just how I do it, and it seems to work well for me. And I'm going to kind of give them a lot of berry food throughout this because I really want them to have a nice start. Because really a raspberry bush should last you many, many years. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling up this hole, and then I'll show you what I use to mulch around it. So let's go ahead and talk about the mulch that I'm using. It's kind of what I use for all of my berry plants. So my blueberries, strawberries, raspberries is pine bark nuggets. Most berries like a slightly acidic soil, I've found, especially when you're planting in soil similar to Iowa's, so very alkaline. And for these I just mulch lightly. And what mulch does and why it's important is it really helps retain the moisture around your plants. And bringing plants out of dormancy, it's very important that they stay not, sopping wet, but at least retain some of the moisture. So, similar to that amount is good. And then I will water this deeply and continue to watch it over the next couple weeks. And like I said, so far what I've gotten from MI Gardener, it's been absolutely phenomenal. His plants come out of dormancy beautifully. And no, this video is not sponsored. I totally wish, because I absolutely love his products, but yeah, so, and I'll go ahead and show you some of the other plants I've gotten from him and kind of what a raspberry plant looks like as it comes out of dormancy. But I would say the main four things that you want to do for a dormant raspberry plant, or really any dormant plants, is to soak them in warm water for 1 to 2 hours. Make sure you have a good fertilizer. I love using berry food because it's for berries, but you can use an all-purpose. And also making sure you amend your soil at least a little bit, using compost, a little bit of peat moss, but you got to be careful because peat moss is acidic. You don't want your soil to be too acidic. And also making sure you use a light mulch so that it can stay nice and evenly moist. It helps suppress some of the weeds, which I do allow some of the grass around because once they get bigger, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and go look at some of the other berry plants that I have from him. Okay, so here is I believe a jewel black raspberry, yes. And so I did plant this completely dormant, so had no leaves. It was just like a stick like the one before. Maybe around May 9th-ish. And like I said, it was completely bare root. Like there was not a single leaf on this thing. and it's really just come in so quick, so beautifully. Plenty of new growth. You can see more new growth coming on down here. Just absolutely beautiful and healthy. And so I haven't watered it actually in a few days. We did get some light rain, but you can see under the mulch here how moist it is, which is really important for berries because raspberries in general really do love water, just like strawberries. They take a lot of water, and you can always tell once they start getting berries, you can tell when they need more water because the actual berry just looks like a wrinkly fruit. It's just not plump, full. So yeah, that is how I like to plant my dormant raspberry plants, and I'm very glad that you guys came along with me. If you have any questions, tips, or ideas, please leave them down below. Like, follow, and share if you like my content. Thank you.